Hi, this is the first tutorial we're going to do with Muse. It's going to cover defining our sitemap, beginning our main master page, and beginning the interior master page for our tutorial, which is going to be about KATIEscafe, which is our files that are supplied to us. So we're going to start. If you go on my website, you can download the Muse file. It's a folder that includes Muse pages as well as an assets folder, which includes all the artwork for the Muse pages. So we're going to start by looking at the Muse page, and I'm going to double click on the publish site, and you can take a look at what the site is going to look like that we're going to create if you want to take a quick look at it. That is the publish site, like I said. You can preview it and take a look at what it will look like when it's finished. So the home, the menu page, which is not completed yet, the gallery, and then the contact information, which includes a map, some extra widgets as well. So we'll always have that to refer back to. But we're going to start by opening Muse, a new file of Muse. So File, New Site. Okay, when we open File, New Site for Muse, we get a dialog box. It incorporates the typical page width, which is 960 by 500, which is the default. We are going to keep that default. And as a just to know, the application will also allow us to create for tablet and phone. But for this case, we're just going to click on desktop, which means just for a website design. Also, with regards to the 960 by 500, websites tend to be fixed in page width and dynamic in page height. So for this case, we are going to change, the only thing we're going to change on this new site setting box is we're going to change our columns to 9. And then hit OK. So we're going to get a new Muse page. And we are in the planning mode. Okay, so what we are going to do is create 5 categories and rename our categories. So we're going to click 5 categories. We're going to double click our categories and put them in all caps. That's how CSS code or HTML code prefers it. So it's going to be in all caps, home. Whoops. Double click. Our second category will be menu, all caps, gallery, blog, and contact. Okay. So then now we're going to add metadata. I know we briefly spoke about metadata the other day in class. Metadata is for better search engine optimization results for your pages. So I'm going to show you how to do that. We're going to go to the master page. We're going to right click the page property. So I'm going to right click. We're going to go under page property. And under the title suffix, I am going to add 1 space, then straight line going up, then another space, and I'm going to write Katie's, Cafe, and hit OK. So this, when the pages are published, it will give it a name like home space line space KATIEscafe. Next one would say menu space line going straight up space KATIEscafe, and so on. So that's what the metadata does for the HTML pages. Okay, so then we're going to do some work to the master pages. So we're going to double click the master page name, and I'm going to change it to main in all caps. I'm going to add another master page, and I'm going to call it in all caps. Whoops. Interior. So we're going to create 2 master pages. Okay. But first we're going to work on the main master. So first off, we are going to make sure that we can view, under view, oops, in Muse, we're going to make sure we can, actually we need to double click on our main page. We need to make sure under view we have our guides, our rulers, and our smart guides enabled. So if we see hide rulers and hide guides, that means that our rulers and guides are currently out already, and our smart guides are checked, so we're good. If not, that's how you would enable it. Adjusting your guides. So now we're going to adjust these guides, which you'll see on these blue arrows. Okay, so the top blue arrow is the top of the page. When you highlight over them, you can see what they are. We're going to adjust that to the top of the page, and then I'm going to take the next arrow down, which is the header, and I'm going to bring that to the top of the page also. So the two blue arrows are side by side. The two bottom blue arrows are going to be, the bottom of the page is going to be brought to 600. So this is the footer, this is the bottom of the page. I'm going to drag that down to 600. And then the bottom of the browser is going to be brought up to 600 as well. So they're going to be side by side. The last but not least is the footer, and that's going to be moved to 365. So it will give you the numbers that you're going to. 365. Okay, good. So if we look back at our live site, this was a look at what the footer area would look like. So we're going to be creating some of that right now, just to get an idea of what we're going for here. Okay, so now we're going to make sure you save often. Just going to call it, this is G test, or yeah, let's call it test. Okay, make sure you save often. Again, computers crash all the time. I suggest saving like every 5 minutes. Okay, so now we're going to go under our library. I happen to have my library open, but if you don't have your library open, you can always go under Window and pull down to Library if you don't have it open. Okay, so the library consists of these files that were already created for us. Color templates were created. So we're going to go under this library and pull out color sample. If I take that and drag it out, it's going to give us the colors that we need, the only colors that we need to apply for this site. So it seems like it's 4 different colors. Okay, so because we pulled that out, I can now go to my swatches, which happen to be below. If you don't have swatches, again, go under Window, pull down to Swatches. You can click in the gray area of your swatches and then right click, and it gives you the options to delete all unused colors, and you can do that. And you'll notice in your palette all the other colors are gone and only the colors you need are there. So at this point you can go back into your document and you can delete the colors that we pulled out from the library. So now you'll notice again the only colors that are there are the ones we need. Okay. Okay, we did that. Okay, and then we're also going to go under, on the top of the page, we can see the browser fill. Browser fill would be the color in our background. So we can click on browser fill, go right to our color palette, and we're going to click off-white color, and it changes our whole background to that off-white color. Okay, creating the footer. We are going to grab a rectangle shape from the toolbar. I draw a rectangle. Doesn't have to be perfect at this point. Okay. I'm going to select a border of 0, and the fill color is going to be dark brown. So my stroke is going to be none. And my fill color is going to be dark brown. And then I'm going to take the move tool, which is the arrow on top, and I'm going to set the height. but I'm not going to set the width. I'm going to show you what you need to do with width. Okay, so then after we have the shape selected, there's something on here, and this is what you want to use for web page design. If I hover over this, it says 100% width. You want to click that because then it'll give you ultimate width scrolling with your websites. So the wider you open your website, that width is always going to stay, whether you close, you make it smaller or larger. So you always want to click when you're going edge to edge, that 100% width toggle. Okay. So now we're going to place a Photoshop button. So what we're going to do is File, Place Photoshop Button. So under File, Place Photoshop Button, and we're going to find it in our Assets folder, which is located in that folder that you downloaded. There is a banner PSD folder, or PSD file. You're going to hit Open. Now when you open a PSD file in Muse, it gives you all the states that were created. And we can open the Photoshop file, but these states represent the different layers. The normal site is the up state of the button. The rollover state is, again, when you hover over it, it would change its look to a lighter brown, and then the mouse down is when you click on it, it would change again. So we're just going to hit OK, and Photoshop is going to allow us to click the button. Okay. So now I'm going to use the Move tool, which is the arrow on top, to move it in the proper place. Okay. Okay. Okay, so now I'm going to go to my T tool, which is my text tool, and draw a box. We have to make a place container. I'm going to type download here. And I'm going to highlight my text and change my text color to white. I'm going to center align my text also. And then I'm just going to close up on the box a little bit, so it's not as wide, not as deep. And then I'm going to move my text above my ribbon. Voila. Okay. So then the only other thing we want to create here are the lines. There were two lines that were to the left and to the right of the ribbon. So here's a trick. We don't actually use lines. For CSS, we want the code to download quickly. So here's a little trick with creating lines. We create a text box. Oops. And then what we do is we give it a stroke of white. Oops. So then when we go under stroke, it gives you the expansion options. You want to unclick the lock button, and then you're only going to leave one points on the top stroke. The rest you're going to change to 0. And it then takes it and makes it a line. So we really just want a one stroke line. So that's what we are going to do to create our line. Again, it downloads quicker in code when you create it as a container line. So I'm also going to duplicate that line. So I'm going to take it and, whoops, sorry, duplicate my line. And there we have it. Okay. So that's the footer. Then we want to go on to the plan mode. And the plan mode, you're going to notice that